These mainstream jobs are not cut out for people with chronic health conditions because, mind you, there was a time where I was working as a receptionist, right, somewhere, and my probation, they were basically saying, oh no, like, you need to sort of fix up type thing, otherwise, yeah. So that caused me so much stress that I ended up having a sickle cell crisis and I ended up in hospital. Now, if we rewind, when I had my job interview, that's when I disclosed that I had sickle cell and I told them that it's well managed. So that's one thing, right? Mind you, they didn't put any reasonable adjustments in place or anything. My bad, I didn't really know a lot about reasonable adjustments. Like I was only just getting into work properly. So I basically came back to work and I had a meeting with HR and the receptionist manager. And one thing that the receptionist manager said, which now I'm literally looking back at it and I'm like, rah, like, how did I let that slide? Because she said, oh, well, we thought your sickle cell was well controlled, in a way to say, yeah, well, we didn't need to put reasonable adjustments in place because of the fact that your sickle cell is well managed. That don't mean nothing. If you are going for a job and they're trying to say that even though your condition is well managed, you don't have a lot of absences and all of that stuff, it doesn't matter. You need to ask for reasonable adjustments. That's one of the first things that you've got to do. It depends on the nature of your job, what's considered reasonable, what is not considered reasonable. But there's a few different ways you can go about asking for reasonable adjustments, or what you can ask for. You can ask for hybrid working. You can ask for a disability passport. You can ask for a, what do they call them things? You can ask for disability sickness, so that's separate from sick leave, so that you're not getting flagged up on the HR system to say that you'll need a review of your absences and why you're absent so much. So you being off with a cold is it's completely different from you being off with a sickle cell crisis or pain and all of that. If your job, for example, makes you move around a lot, maybe you can request to work in one core base, even though you may have to travel a few different times to your other locations. You could potentially ask for that. It just really, again, depends on the employer and what's reasonable to them. But as somebody with sickle cell, your health, your sickle cell generally meets the definition of a disability in the Equality Act 2010. So you are already covered and backed by that. So you need to, where you see fit and what your needs are, you need to take some reasonable adjustment requests to your employer, whether it's with occupational health or without it. You just need to put these things in place to protect you so that you're not sort of removed from your job because of unfair dismissal. But of course they're going to make it look legitimate so that nothing gets sort of flagged up and they're not put in trouble for it. Make sure you protect yourself in work, because I can't lie to you, our health condition is so spontaneous. One day we're fine, one day we're not. And if we're constantly on and off work, it's something that's gonna put us in a lot of trouble. Even though it's not our fault, but you know, these employers, they don't care sometimes. So you need to back yourself and protect yourself, because money has to be made. If you can work, ask for reasonable adjustments. I feel that I left out a very key detail that I have to input, because the cheek of it, I decided to up and leave this job because it's not you lot that are putting me in hospital, and then, you know, you're also now putting reasonable adjustments in place as damage control. Absolutely not. So in other words, I was going to pass probation in the first place, but you put me through all of that stress for what exactly? I don't know. Like, nah, that's just, to me, toxic. I'm so glad I left. How can we go through all of those loopholes for you to come and tell me that, yeah, all we needed was a bit more improvement, but either way you would have been fine. Yeah, okay, whatever. As long as you're doing the job that you need to do, that you were hired to do as well, anything that they come and say, it's not like they can fire you on the spot or all of these things.